I have always, in my own private way, hated the term dead name. That is to say, the phantom of your birth name, the name of your genesis, the first thing you ever really are. When I transitioned from one gender to another, my birth name became my dead name, insinuating superficially that I had allowed some intrinsic part of myself to perish, and the I that had once been was no more, forever. Death is the ultimate finality, and so the dead name is an assassination of self. The first several months out of high school, which is when I decided I would be open about my gender, were quiet and tense, like a taut piano wire about to snap into cacophony. My mother, forgetful and nervy, would not or could not say my name of her own volition, and in response I hauled up my cruelty and would not look at, would not speak to, would not acknowledge her in any way. She would not name me, so I would not name her. We were nobodies to each other, as I saw it. My father was so quiet, so cunning in his ability to be charming and kind while never truly addressing the issue, that I didn't notice his anguish over my rechristening. He was my ally in what I assumed was a totally complete understanding of me. But the veins of discordance were glowing blue under his skin, staggered words, looks askance, silences before he said my name, which echoed in the canyons between us. They were both grieving. I met a girl my first year of college who transfigured my name with surgical grace, shearing it down to an atom. E, the letter, scrawled out on notes, blown around in her cheeks, and laughed out in a diaspora of fantastic wild joy. It was the first act of love in her naming, to be distilled into a sap, my name pooled small and amber in the crib of her palm. I was a thing utterly bare to her. I was, in a letter, only myself. My father, at the same time, had also started calling me E, same letter. Not the same at all. He said to me, "I'll call you E in public. Easier that way. Fewer chances for discomfort or confusion." I felt this to be very considerate of him at first. As well-meaning as he was, and I have no doubts that he did this as an earnest act of love before anything else, he was embarrassed. He was attempting to skim the surface issue of the name without rupturing the meniscus. This, however, was a vessel too heavy to be suspended by surface tension alone. I have always been close with my father, so when eventually the undertow of chaos and contention in the household had finally slunk away from the shore, I felt that there was a universal acceptance of everything that had happened. Finally, peace. The easiest ingress to intimacy with my father is by means of nature walk. The travel between lolling trees, the bright, pellucent air, the organic harmonics of clay and water and recumbent roots. We were walking like this when he spoke his blasphemy to me, when he desecrated our sacred space. It was like I lost a child. "You died when you changed," he said to the human life at his hip. The loss of the name erased the daughter. Was I my name? Had the uncoupling from that word killed me? Was I an executioner for a person who could have been? Dead name. How much did I take when I buried you? I nodded to my father when he said this, and I said nothing. I was never gone, but I had gone. I was not lost, but she was. He has since atoned, but I cannot erase his mourning. But the most damning misconception of the dead name is the assumption that it is a splitting of the self, that I had performed an amputation. Dead tissue. No. Something was uprooted but not abandoned to die. I was once a daughter, but now I am not. I once bore my birth name, but now I keep a name chosen for myself. Obsidian will always be the progeny of lava. The moray eel is not negated when it rolls from one sex to the next. Dragonfly nymphs have always been dragonflies and will remain so until their exoskeletons evanesce and become the earth again. Metamorphosis is not death. The change is not self-destruction. I will always have been born on January 2nd at 7 in the evening. There is no dead name. Simply rename.